They smiled at the check-in counter like this was some kind of maturity test for good little homeowners. But the plastic card they slipped into my hand wasn't a boarding pass for the HOA's fancy international compliance retreat. It was a monthly shuttle pass for the Ridgeway Estates community bus, the same ugly green one that circles the neighborhood every hour like a slow-motion prison transport. My name is Paisley Lewis. I'm 24, a junior risk analyst at Ridgeway Risk and Compliance downtown. And I spend my days hunting tiny lies in spreadsheets the way other people hunt typos. I'm precise. I'm logical. And yet, standing under the vaulted white roof of Denver International Airport with the smell of overpriced coffee and entitlement thick in the air, I completely missed the fraud happening right in front of my face. Ridgeway Estates is the kind of gated community that looks peaceful on the HOA welcome brochure. White picket fences, perfectly manicured lawns, American flags flapping at exactly the approved 45-degree angle. But behind those gates lives Karen Hargrove, our HOA president for the last 8 years. She's the woman who sends passive-aggressive emails at 6 a.m. about grass blades being 2.7 inches instead of the sacred 2.5. She's the one who once fined Mrs. Alvarez $250 for a single dandelion because weeds are a gateway to chaos. On the outside, Karen is all pastel cardigans and bless your heart smiles. On the inside, she's a walking spreadsheet of grudges. I had volunteered to help with the HOA's financial reports last spring. Big mistake. That's how I ended up on the invite list for this ridiculous 3-week compliance tour to Dubai. Karen pitched it at the monthly meeting as essential networking with international HOA standards. Translation: a paid vacation on community dues while the rest of us watered lawns and measured flagpoles. I hesitated. My job was new. My student loans were still screaming, but Karen had cornered me in the clubhouse with that syrupy voice. Paisley, honey, you're a numbers girl. We need you there to keep everything ethical. I should have seen the red flags then. Instead, I took 2 weeks of vacation and packed my sensible carry-on. The airport was chaos. Travelers rushing like ants. Karen steered her clique, her husband Gary, board treasurer Denise, and her spoiled daughter Madison, toward the first-class counter like royalty. Silver hard-shell suitcases glittered under the lights like stolen treasure. Karen's heels clicked a sharp rhythm on the terrazzo. Her cashmere wrap draped just so despite the July heat. I trailed behind in my linen sundress, dragging my bag, still stupidly excited. At the counter, Karen flashed her board president smile at the agent and handed over 3 passports. I stepped forward with mine. Here, I said. You forgot me. Karen turned, her expression sliding into practiced confusion. Oh, Paisley, there was a glitch with your booking code. The system flagged the 4th ticket. The air thinned around me. I knew that tone. It was the same one she used when she told residents their variance requests were under review for 6 months. My stomach dropped. We fix it right now, I said. Karen's voice stayed honey-sweet. The flight's full. Sweetie, we tried everything. You understand. You're the logical one. She reached in her purse and pressed a laminated card into my palm. Not a credit card. Not cash. A Ridgeway Estates shuttle pass. Your car's making that noise again. We can't have you breaking down on the highway. Take the community shuttle home. You'll have the whole neighborhood to yourself. Just keep an eye on the standards while we're gone. Water the common area plants. Bring the mail. Make sure no one parks on the street after 8 p.m. It works out perfectly. I stared at the plastic card. It felt like a slap wrapped in pastel. Gary checked his watch. I'll transfer the dues reimbursement every week to your account. Treat yourself, order takeout, get a spa day. It'll be like you're on vacation, minus the jet lag. Karen's smile sharpened. Don't make a scene. Paisley, Madison has been looking forward to this for months. Grow up. Madison smirked behind her phone, filming the moment like it was content. They turned their backs, and disappeared past security without a single glance. I stood frozen, Shuttle pass burning in my hand, watching the perfect HOA family stroll toward their luxury escape, while I was demoted to neighborhood watchdog. The walk out of the terminal felt endless. I took the train, then the shuttle, the same shuttle whose schedule I now knew by heart because Karen had emailed it for my convenience. When I finally unlocked my townhouse door in Ridgeway Estates, the silence hit like a fine. The place smelled of absence and Karen's potpourri from the last inspection. The calendar on the fridge still had Dubai Retreat written in her bubbly handwriting across the next 3 weeks. I sat on a bar stool and waited for the promised transfer notification. An hour passed. 2. The sun set, painting long shadows across the marble I was now apparently responsible for keeping spotless. My phone buzzed. The Ridgeway Royals group chat, Karen's private board circle, lit up with a photo from the Dubai first-class lounge. Lobster towers, champagne flutes, Madison throwing a peace sign. Karen's caption, touchdown. The journey was worth every community dollar. Time to live the standards we preach. No mention of me. No, did you get home safe? Just their joy. My erasure. I opened my banking app. Balance looked normal for now. But something felt wrong. 2 weeks earlier, Karen had asked for my social security card and birth certificate, just for the group travel insurance policy. Standard procedure. Paisley compliance. You know how it is. I had handed them over like an idiot. Now my folder in the HOA filing cabinet was the only one stripped clean. The shuttle pass sat on the counter like a mocking trophy. It wasn't transportation. It was containment. While they toasted in Dubai, I was supposed to stay slow, visible, and useful, exactly where Karen wanted her scapegoat. I didn't know the full extent yet, but standing in that dark kitchen lit only by their glittering Instagram lies, I felt the first cold click of instinct. The thing they had borrowed before they flew away wasn't just my documents. They had borrowed my name, and the entire neighborhood was about to pay the price. For the first 2 days, I moved through Ridgeway Estates like a ghost in my own life. I avoided the white clubhouse sofas, terrified one grass stain would trigger an instant $500 fine. My world shrank to the rhythm of the green shuttle bus. To reach my job by 8 a.m., I left at 6:30, walking the mile to the stop while dragging my work bag over sidewalks the HOA swore were perfectly maintained. The bus smelled of industrial cleaner and broken dreams. I sat in the back, clutching my laptop, watching the flat Colorado landscape slide by while my phone buzzed with Karen's vacation updates. Tuesday morning, while I ate a sandwich made from the heels of the last loaf in my pantry, the group chat exploded. A video from Madison, Golden Desert sunset, open-top Jeep tearing across dunes. Karen laughing, Gary pointing dramatically, Denise holding sparkling water like it was champagne. Caption, finally living the standards. I stared at the new gold watch on Gary's wrist in the next photo, price tag bigger than my car payment. I opened my banking app again. Still no transfer. Time zone difference, I whispered to the empty kitchen. International wires take time. But the analyst in me was already poking holes. Karen never forgot money. That evening, I walked to the community mailbox in the rain. Plastic bags cutting into my fingers. Another notification, rooftop dinner with a view to die for. Crystal, silver, city lights like diamonds. I took screenshots, evidence, but I didn't know why yet. Then I sorted the mail pile I'd been instructed to keep tidy. Every bank envelope addressed to the HOA had been neatly opened and resealed. Statements for the community escrow account. My personal dues. Even my linked checking. Someone had checked every balance before they left. My hand shook. This wasn't oversight. This was inventory. I dialed Karen. Straight to voicemail. Gary, same. Madison declined on the second ring. I typed a neutral message to the group chat. Hope the dinner was amazing. Just checking on the weekly reimbursement for neighborhood maintenance. Wire might be delayed. Read receipts popped up instantly. No reply. Instead, Karen posted a selfie with Madison holding cocktails. Cheers to family time. The message was crystal. I was the help, the ghost left behind to guard their kingdom. That night, the house felt colder than the thermostat allowed. I checked the mail again and found the big white envelope from Ridgeway Property Management, addressed to Karen Hargrove and Paisley Lewis. Inside, notice of lease violation and past due community escrow. $3,800 for July not received. Worse, the primary compliance responsibility had been transferred to me via a document I supposedly signed last month when Karen asked me to quick sign this package. The courier's in a rush. My signature looked right, but the pressure was wrong. Gavin, no. Gary had forged it while I held the clipboard. The puzzles slammed together. They hadn't just left me behind. They had positioned me as the fall guy for every HOA expense. While they dined on lobster in Dubai, I was legally on the hook for the entire community's bills. My townhouse wasn't mine anymore under HOA rules. It was collateral. Thursday morning, I woke with a pounding headache. Skipped breakfast, ran for the shuttle, made it to the office with 5 minutes to spare. In a lobby coffee shop, I tapped my debit card for a large black and a bagel. Declined. I checked the app. Checking account, $0. A transfer yesterday to an external account ending in 4492 swept everything clean. The same device that linked it had pinged near the airport the day we left. I stepped into the alley beside the building, hands shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. Customer service confirmed. Authorized via mobile app at 6:45 a.m. while I was in the shower. The external account had been linked 3 days earlier using my Social Security card Karen had borrowed for insurance. Then the credit monitoring alert hit. New Chase Sapphire card opened in my name. $25,000 limit. Opened the Friday before the trip. For hard pulls total, cards, personal loan, retail financing. My pristine 780 score was now a gold mine for Karen's Dubai shopping spree. I went straight to my desk and started my own forensic audit. At 10:30 a.m., another group chat photo, Gary's new Rolex in the souk. I photographed everything, screenshots, timestamps, the forged lease addendum. The shuttle pass on my desk now looked like a pair of plastic handcuffs. Karen hadn't given me freedom. She had scheduled my containment. But they forgot one thing. I track patterns for a living. And now I saw the pattern clear as day. Every ridiculous HOA rule, every fine, every community expense was about to be billed to Paisley Lewis while Karen sipped champagne 7,000 miles away. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to document. And when they landed back in Denver expecting a broken resident and a tidy neighborhood, they were going to find a fortress built from their own paper trail. I killed the digital Paisley Lewis first, the version Karen could still reach. At the kitchen table, turned war room, I logged into Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and slammed credit freezes on all three. Then I changed every password Karen might have guessed from that old notebook I'd stupidly left in the drawer. Two-factor authentication everywhere. If she tried to log in from a Dubai hotel Wi-Fi, she'd need the phone currently in my hand. Friday, I took a half day and met consumer protection lawyer Mallory Keene in her strip mall office between the nail salon and tax prep place. She didn't offer tissues. She offered a legal pad. Strip the emotion. Paisley. Date. Time. Event. Evidence. The law doesn't care that Karen called you logical. It cares about the forged signature on that escrow transfer. I spent the weekend turning my living room into a crime scene. Printed every screenshot, every opened envelope, every Dubai photo matched to a credit card charge. July 14th, Karen asked for my documents for group insurance. July 17th, shuttle pass handed at airport. $55 charged to my card at the kiosk while I guarded luggage. July 18th, $3,000 duty-free charge in Dubai on the new Sapphire card. Every lobster tower had my name on the receipt. I restored deleted files from the shared HOA computer in the clubhouse. Found a scanned PDF, $50,000 personal consolidation loan application. Approved. Signature Paisley Lewis, but the slant was Gary's. I saved it to 3 places and started voice memos for Maliri. Date July 21st, 11 p.m. They're still posting from Dubai. I ate oatmeal for dinner. Found a forged loan today. Karen didn't just borrow money, she committed felonies. Monday, I dropped the 3-inch binder on Mallory's desk. She flipped to the side-by-side of Madison's designer handbag photo and the matching boutique charge. This is a weapon. Now we fire it. She handed me identity theft report forms and sent me to the police station. Detective Miller took the file, read the Dubai timestamps, and asked the question I'd been dreading. Is it a family member? I looked at the shuttle pass on his desk and answered clearly. It's Karen Hargrove, HOA President, and her board. They're in Dubai right now, and none of it was authorized. The next day, I marched into the property management office with the police report still warm. Mr. Henderson, the manager who hated drama, stared at the forgery. I laid out the timeline. Karen used my identity to secure community escrow without consent. If you try to evict me for her unpaid bills, I'll tie this property up in court for months. Or we fix it now. 20 minutes later, I walked out with a new compliance agreement. Only my name, locks changed on my townhouse, gate codes for Karen and Gary deactivated. By 5 p.m., the locksmith was drilling out the old core. The sound of metal biting metal was the sweetest symphony I'd ever heard. He handed me 2 shiny silver keys. Nobody gets in unless they have one of these. I locked the deadbolt, and for the first time the house felt like mine, not Karen's kingdom. I sat on the couch and let the adrenaline fade. The family photos on the mantel, Karen smiling at ribbon cuttings, now looked like strangers. My phone rang. Unknown number. Detective Miller. The card is being used heavily in Dubai. Locations match. Mother's maiden name. Childhood street. First pet. All questions answered correctly. Standard question. MS. Lewis, do you know who it is? I took a breath. Yes. It's Karen Hargrove and Gary. They're in Dubai, and none of it was authorized. The missile was launched. Now I just had to wait for impact. The next 24 hours were the hardest because of the silence. Karen and her clique were still posting fountain shows, gold leaf steaks, living the standards. Every photo was another brick in their prison cell. I screenshot everything for the forensic accountant I'd already hired. Practice lines with my friend Harper playing Karen. But Paisley, we just need a place to stay. We're exhausted. I answered cold and legal. This is not your community anymore. The compliance agreement is in my name. You have no legal right of entry. Harper grinned. She's going to cry. She'll do the hand-on-chest heart attack routine. Then I'll call 911, I said. But I won't open the door. Detective Miller called. They land at 4 p.m. Tomorrow. I'll be parked down the street. Text me the second they arrive. I wanted to face them alone first. I needed them to see the woman they left with a shuttle pass, standing tall in a navy suit that screamed, I own this now. At 2 p.m., the black sedan idled outside. The shuttle van from the airport growled up the curb. Karen, Gary, Denise, and Madison looked wrecked, wrinkled linen, frizzy hair, no more first-class glow. They hauled luggage up the driveway. Karen stopped at the porch steps, saw me watching from the window, and marched up with her clipboard like she still ran the world. She jammed her key into the new deadbolt. Nothing. She rattled it violently. Paisley, open this door. The lock is stuck. I opened the inner latch just enough for the security chain to hold and looked out through the 3-inch gap. The lock isn't stuck. Karen, the compliance agreement was amended Tuesday. The only person with legal right of entry is the compliance officer. That's me. You're not on it anymore. Karen's face flushed under her perfect makeup. Excuse me? This is my neighborhood. Gary shoved forward. I pay the dues on this place. It's my house. Actually, I said calmly, you haven't paid in 2 months. I paid the arrears to stop the eviction you left me with. Management transferred full possession to me, and I already called the police. As if on cue, Detective Miller's sedan pulled up. 2 uniformed officers stepped out. Karen's entitled smile faltered. She turned to the officers with her best, bless your heart, voice. Officers, thank God. My resident has locked us out. She's having some kind of episode. We just want to get into our community. Miller didn't shake Gary's extended hand. He looked at me through the gap. MS. Lewis. Yes. Detective. I slid the chain off and opened the door wide. Gary tried to surge forward. An officer blocked him with a raised hand. Hold on. Sir. Step back. Miller pulled the folded warrant from his jacket. According to property records and this active investigation, this residence is the secured location of the victim. Stay on the porch. They were escorted into the foyer like prisoners. Their expensive luggage dropped on the marble I had vacuumed that morning. Karen's eyes traveled past me to the dining table where the 3-inch binder sat open to the flowchart of money trails. Beside it lay the stack of bank letters and, taped to the front like a trophy, the crumpled shuttle pass receipt showing the $55 charged to my card at the airport kiosk. Karen's face went the color of old ash. She grabbed Gary's arm, knuckles white. She knew. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a dossier. Paisley, she quavered. What is all that? That's the timeline. Karen, it starts with the day you opened my mail. It ends with the day you bought Madison's Gucci bag on the card you opened in my name. Gary blustered. It was a family board arrangement. Paisley agreed to let us use her credit to build points. I didn't blink. I agreed to water the plants. I didn't agree to finance your $50,000 vacation. Madison, quiet until now, stepped forward. Dad, you said she signed the papers. In the hotel, when the card declined, you told Mom that Paisley must have messed up the authorization. You said she signed the loan before we left. The room went dead silent. Madison had just confirmed the conspiracy in front of Detective Miller. Karen tried the tears, the weaponized ones that always worked on residents. Paisley, baby, please, think of the neighbors. We can fix this. I'll sell my jewelry. Just tell the officer to leave. I'm your HOA president. I carried this community for 8 years. I looked at the hand that had once pressed the shuttle pass into my palm. You told me I could handle it. You told me to grow up. So I did. I handled it. And part of being an adult is choosing who gets to stay in your life. I'm respecting the decision you made to leave me behind. Now respect mine to stay left behind. Miller stepped forward. Karen Hargrove, Gary Hargrove, you are persons of interest in a federal investigation for bank fraud, identity theft, and wire fraud. We have a warrant for your devices and records. The officers guided them out. Madison looked back once, eyes wide with dawning horror. I watched the red and blue lights flash against the darkening sky as they were loaded into the cruisers. The neighbors stood on their porches, finally seeing the real Karen. I closed the door, turned the new deadbolt, and for the first time the silence inside wasn't lonely. It was clean. The days after the arrest were quiet justice, the sound of printers, pens, and stamps. Real payback doesn't scream, it files. I spent 48 hours in Mallory's office, turning the binder into formal affidavits. We attached the screenshots of Karen's bribe text offering me $5,000 to drop the charges. Consciousness of guilt, Mallory said. Innocent people don't bribe victims. Karen and Gary hired a shiny-suited lawyer named Arthur Sterling who tried to paint me as a jealous resident retaliating over a missed trip. The judge wasn't buying it. At the preliminary hearing, Mallory laid out the timeline: forged signatures, auto-pay setups from a year ago, Dubai charges timestamped to their Instagram posts. The judge granted a permanent 5-year no-contact order. If Mr. or Mrs. Hargrove sends so much as a birthday card, they will be held in contempt. The forensic accounting report came back damning. Karen had been grooming my financial profile for months: small test transfers, credit checks, all while enforcing her petty grass-length rules on everyone else. The Dubai trip was the cash-out phase. The judge referred the case to the district attorney with a recommendation for full prosecution and ordered treble damages, $150,000. Karen's face went white. She didn't have it. She would never have it. I walked out of the courthouse into bright Denver sunlight. Mallory walked beside me. You held the line, Paisley. They lost the only thing that mattered you. In the parking lot, Karen and Gary argued beside a beat-up rental car. Madison sat in the back, looking lost. As I passed, she gave a tiny nod, acknowledgement that she now carried the weight they once put on me. I reached into my blazer pocket and pulled out the old Shuttle pass. Worn edges, scratched magnetic strip, the object that started the war. I thought about tossing it, but instead I smiled. I stepped to the curb as the Route 15 community shuttle approached, the same line that had carried me home the day they abandoned me. The doors hissed open. I tapped the pass. Beep. Valid. I sat in the back by the window and watched the courthouse disappear. The bus picked up speed, heading toward the horizon. They thought the shuttle pass was a cage to keep me circling their kingdom. They were wrong. A shuttle doesn't just loop, it connects to trains, to airports, to new cities. It moves forward. I was going to the leasing office to break the lease under Colorado's financial abuse clause. I was moving to a new apartment Karen had never touched. Every dollar, every decision, every ticket from now on would be mine. As the skyline of my old life receded, I looked at the crumpled pass one last time. They thought they left me a ticket to ride in their shadow. But when they returned, they found a leash cut and the resident gone. They thought this ticket was punishment. I knew the truth. It was the best $55 investment I ever made. It bought my freedom, and everything had changed forever